You know what? Let's just start it from the beginning. I found out that if I had a superhero name, it would be Repetitive Man. That would be my superhero name.
Say it again.
Repetitive Man. That would be my superhero name.
Welcome to Zero Hit Points, everybody. It's May 3rd. I'm Ryan Miller. He's the unofficial Olsen triplet.
Oh.
Matt Amber.
Man, I did like Full House.
Just kidding. That triplet was consumed in the womb.
Let's talk about something more interesting, like Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead.
Have we talked about that before?
We have, I'm sure, but I watched it again because I got... Look, okay, here...
No, I just want to make sure.
So something happened this past... So wife and I were discussing certain like TV that we wanted to watch, and we just didn't have any real way of watching, so we finally went through it and realized that a mass majority of it is HBO stuff. So we decided to jump in the line, and we subscribed to HBO Now. I mean, ultimately, we wanted to both watch Westworld a great deal, and True Detective was something neither of us ever saw. But we decided, because when you get HBO, whatever, you get all the movies and stuff they have, and I was looking for something to put on in the background that I could just have in the background while I did work around the house, and it ended up being Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead.
Sure.
And David Duchovny is good in that movie.
Is it your favorite David Duchovny movie?
It's the only David Duchovny movie I can even think of right now.
What about Playing God?
Yeah, I don't think about that movie because I saw it one time before, and I think it had Ed Norton Jr. in it or something. Somebody else was in it. It was better.
I don't remember.
But then because we got HBO, one of the things Beth has been dying to actually get in, she got into it, and then we moved, and she really, really wants to see how it turns out. So we started rewatching Game of Thrones, which is fine. It's cool. I'm not overly like Joel. I'm not super into it. It's really, that show is totally hit or miss for me. And the first couple of episodes that we've watched, which I'd already seen, they're not, they like,
you say, so you're starting from the beginning?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. They're fine. I'm sure they just don't do a whole lot for me. It's not. You
still haven't forgiven them for killing Sean Bean, have you? Or anybody.
And every time I see him on screen, it's like, there's a screen, Sean Bean's going to die. Hey, look, there's his name in the credits. Why don't they just put a big X over it? Like, come on. So Game of Thrones is Game of Thrones. I don't really have any opinions there.
It's a video game podcast. So
and getting closer to video games, so now I'm 2 episodes away from completing season 2 of The Flash. And
do we wanna?
Man, this season is so good. So good. I can only be disappointed from here on out, which I know like season 3 is gonna
gotten
suck.
to the reveal. Well, no, I think you're past the worst of it. Do we want to? We talked about this.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
Let's do it. Okay.
I don't care.
You're to the reveal. If you haven't seen season 2 of The Flash,
here's the reveal.
Spoily.
Yeah. So Jay Garrick in the comic books is the Flash from Earth 2. And there's a really famous cover of the 2 Flashes running together, and Jay Garrick has the World War I style hat that has the wings on it, and doesn't really cover his face because you know what? Clark only wears glasses.
Who needs it?
Yeah. So Jay Garrick comes to Earth 1, and then basically Zoom is like the Uber version of Reverse Flash. So throughout the season, this is a whole lot of Barry. It's a lot of retreading topics that occurred in the first season, but from a different perspective. It's a lot of Barry has to get faster to beat the bad guy. Well, how does he do it? He has to trust the Harrison Wells that he has a hard time differentiating from the old Harrison Wells that was actually Professor Zoom. But he wasn't really Harrison Wells. He was just Thawne. He was just Eobard Thawne that took over the body. Yeah, good stuff. So they do touch on a whole bunch of that stuff, and this is something we can talk about later on. But I really like the change to Wells. I like this Wells. I like the actual Wells. That's the Harrison Wells. But then the big thing here is so Zoom has to
he just wants to be the fastest, right? Like he just wants all the power. He's just power hungry.
That is essentially what he says, but it turns out that he's also dying because okay, that's right. He used the drug that was made to enhance his speed, but doing
The
so
Velocity
also
9?
It was they went through like 4 of them. Like no joke. There's like Velocity 6, 7, 8, 9. They're like, this one kind of works.
Man, they went through those quickly.
In a flash, you might say.
Oh, dang it.
So
You've won this round.
we find out that Jay Garrick is also dying from a mysterious disease. That's really weird that the Speed Force seems to, that's helping it. Oh, odd. So you get this reveal that Jay Garrick is Zoom, but then you get a double reveal that Jay Garrick, that is because he's killed by Zoom at one point, and they're all freaking out like Jay is dead, Jay is dead, Jay is dead. But then Garrick reveals that he is really Garrick, but he's not Garrick because he's actually a guy named Solomon Grundy. That's not it. It's
Hunter Zolomon.
Hunter Zolomon. Right.
Not a bad name. Honestly.
He went
that's okay.
to show that he couldn't be, because he knew he couldn't be in 2 places at once. And this is all a hand wave, by the way, which is like the buh.
This is explained in under 5 minutes, I think, in the show, right? And then never referenced again, pretty much.
Like, it's not word for word, but this is how long it took. Right. I had to go back in time and what does he say? I had to go back in time and convinces the older version of him to be cool with being killed by the older version of him, so that he could have the...
Yeah, I didn't even know if we needed to go into that much detail.
That was it, though. That was the reveal.
But overall, you seemed pretty up on the
I love
reveal,
it.
other than that weird part about the going back and I'm not as into that reveal. I wasn't happy with it because I felt there were still way too many times where... Because that's the obvious thing. You're like, oh, Garrick is Zoom. Like the whole time I'm like, yeah. And then they did so much with Garrick. I'm like, oh, well, he couldn't be Zoom because of all this stuff.
Right.
I still don't think they covered all of that. I think they just made it super impossible. And then we're like, if we just do this, then that'll take care of everything. Didn't take care of everything for me.
No, and that's
anyways,
fine. I liked it. It's fine. It's so comic booky as a dumb explanation. Like this is something that's very, I could almost imagine Jeff Johns writing this down in a big circle and going, here we go. This is how we explain it. Here we go. Got it. And then he's like, and then you've got this Earth 2 here. It's very like, it's the Martin Stein idea of like, he's going to firestorm it and figure it out.
Which is why essentially I think you're right, even if I disagree, because this show doesn't deserve this type of, or this level of scrutiny either. Like, like I shared with you, like I feel like if I talked to anybody that was involved with creating that part and was like, well, this didn't quite, but they just sort of looked at me like, you're missing the whole point.
It's that Simpsons episode where that one guy's in the front row and he goes, well, you win in Itchy and Scratchy episode 435.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
the point being, I still enjoyed the season overall better than the first even. Yeah.
I love it. So,
yeah.
Yeah. That's where I'm at.
Okay.
What about you?
Me, we watched Shanghai Noon and Shanghai Nights.
You
like those?
You were Shanghaied.
Yeah.
You Shanghaied your time with some Owen Wilson.
Shanghai Noon, and I saw them maybe shortly after they came out on video, 2002 or something like that.
Yeah,
I didn't remember anything about them.
I haven't seen Noon in forever.
Well, so the reason you might not remember much from Noon is because there is just about nothing there, like plot-wise. Like the basic thing is there. It starts off with the princess and she leaves and they have to rescue her. That's like it. And there's like parts where there's no development on that for 30, 40 minutes at a time for, don't they end up, hour and a half movie.
Don't they end up finding her at the railroads or something? And one of their, like one of the people that used to work for them was the guy who kidnapped her. And then,
okay, so you do remember a lot about it.
I feel like maybe
you remember everything about it.
Then I feel like maybe there's a gringo that's like puppeteering it all, or maybe it's
for a second. He just brings her to the U.S.
Right, and then there's okay, got it, yeah.
And then he kills him right there. Yeah. Spoiler, man. Regardless, though, even if it is super thin, like there's not much there, it's totally fun to watch. They do the buddy cop thing well enough, and Owen Wilson is kind of in like pure Owen Wilson form. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hey, did you see what he just did with that ladder? That was cool.
They gave him enough lines. Yes, he's anachronistic enough where like he's referring to the things that the bad guys say, like that's how rude is that, or all the banter is pretty good between him and anybody else. So yeah, and it's still fun.
And I think that it's certainly not the top of his game or anything. But I think there's some really good little sequences in there with Jackie Chan's fighting, like some of his stunts. He's got some really nice little sequences. And Shanghai Nights is the same way. There's actually a sequence specifically in Shanghai Nights that I really, really like when they're fighting like in the square in London.
I know what you're gonna say. Yeah.
Yeah, I just like that scene.
Keep going.
That's all.
What about it though?
I actually,
if we're talking about the same one, it's the riff on "Singing in the Rain."
Yes. Okay.
It's brilliant. Yeah, it's amazing. In fact, I would say, and I think this is where we did mention it quickly, is that you said that Shanghai Nights is better than Shanghai Noon.
Yes.
As a sequel, or just period.
Just period.
Totally agree.
Yeah,
absolutely. Like they fix kind of the story stuff. There's a lot more development there, almost at the expense of some of the fighting. Like there isn't as much action scenes, it feels like, but completely forgiven for that Singing in the Rain bit. Like that whole thing is as brilliant as he's ever been, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah. That sequence is phenomenal. It's great.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Super fun. But yeah, for that reason. And the weird thing about those movies is that they look really gorgeous.
Right?
Like I almost don't expect it, but they're shot like super well. Like all the stuff, like the sets, even for, I guess something that seems like obviously largely a comedy, like they've gone to pains that I feel like we don't see anymore when they're like, yeah, it's Western, but it's funny. So, like.
So deal with it.
I will say Shanghai Nights, though, I don't like that kid almost.
The British kid?
Yeah.
Oh, man. The moment he comes on the screen, I'm like, oh, I already don't like that kid. Yeah.
Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah.
Is his name.
Mm-hmm.
But they play with all that. Like he wasn't even born yet, technically.
Anachronisms.
Yes, no, that's Sir Arthur Conan Doyle is in there too. So I actually like that, how they play with that stuff. But the biggest bummer maybe is that they ride off into the sunset talking about the sequel that'll take place in Hollywood. Like, oh, movies, yeah, maybe we can try that. Like, I would love to see that movie.
I'm not gonna lie to you, that movie that I want to see them do is almost it's the Three Amigos, but it's just like what happens just prior to the beginning of the Three Amigos, because we get to the Three Amigos and they're already established, right?
Right.
And then they're kicked out. So this is going to be them getting established into getting kicked out. That's kind of novel.
It's the stuff that they could do with that, because they make enough winks and nods to the camera about so many things already, but to actually set it in Hollywood, I'm sure would. If they could do that now, like, does that movie get made? Do people get that now, or does it just? I
think that movie has enough of a fan base that if Jackie Chan is willing to do it, I mean, Owen Wilson's got nothing going, so he's fine. But if Jackie Chan is willing to actually do it, I think it's something that you could get done. Yeah, I think
has Jackie Chan said anything? Because I don't see him in anything. Like, I feel like he's gotten too old to do anything, and I'm scared for him.
No, I think he just was in something, actually.
Was he? Okay.
Yeah.
I should look. I actually downloaded like a ton. Like, I got Project A, Police Story 1, 2, 3, Crime Story, Operation Condor. I got those in the wings, so we'll have to talk. The movie we might want to talk about a little bit more is I actually finally saw Split.
Nice. I haven't, but I know too much.
There's not much to spoil in there. There is a twist-ish in the end that I think we can talk around just fine. I don't. Do you know that?
I am
much of
very aware of it. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, we can. Oh wait, you're talking about the twist.
Nope.
The thing you told me.
I know the other part of it too.
Okay, we can spoil that maybe at the very end, because that
your call.
You spoiled that for me, and it didn't really ruin it. It's when M. Night Shyamalan thing is on his game, man, it's fun.
Yeah, totally. No, and
that's one of those.
I don't know what happened where something happened, because
he's weird.
The Visit, I loved it. Thought it was great. I can't wait for this. I'm like, knowing everything that I've heard, I've only heard good things about this movie, especially from horror fans. And
the Shyamalan Renaissance.
I'm into it, man. I just hope that it doesn't follow the same way it went back last time, where he's gonna do Glass, the sequel to Unbreakable, and then it's all gonna just slowly go downhill again, and then we're gonna have another decade of bad things, and then we'll get The Happening 2, and then
here's why I'm hopeful, because Sixth Sense was kind of it's still good, and that probably maybe one of the best twists, because it seems almost less gimmicky than anything else. But when he became the twist guy, I feel like it did kind of get there.
Definitely.
And what Split does is when I think he got to be the best is when that twist was kind of woven into the fabric and not just a reveal at the end of the movie, right?
Right.
And Split is absolutely that. Like that, like throughout the whole thing. And if you watch the preview, they lean on what might be the twist at the end pretty heavily.
Yeah.
And that's in there. But again, it's the way it's more like Signs in this way, which I know we're split on.
That was a flash in the. Oh no, that was a. Damn it.
But Signs had this thing going on where there was a twist again that they probably leaned on too heavily. I mean, it's got to be the temptation with everything he does, or anything that as you drink your glass of water. But that was still woven into the movie in a way that I think we didn't even see in well, I don't know. The argument could be made. Either way, done really well here in Split. And here's your spoiler. We can talk about the end, so skip this part. It's not going to take us long anyways. But so when you told me that this movie took place in the universe of Unbreakable, I hadn't even watched it yet. Just by going from what I saw from the preview, I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Because they Unbreakable was this thing where they bring comic books to life, but in a way that's, toes the line of reality very subtly.
Right.
And this in the preview already looked like that because they make this big question about like, does he actually change when his other personality comes out, when the Beast comes out? I think they name it in the trailer.
Yeah.
And that question fits in perfectly with in that Unbreakable universe. I didn't realize when you told me that there's a literal, not a bumper, more of an epilogue, I guess, because it's not after the credits or anything, at the end where somebody just looks at the TV and was like, oh, that's like that guy, Mr. Glass or something. And then Bruce Willis is sitting next to that girl and is like, Mr. Glass. Or no, sorry. She doesn't name him correctly. And then Bruce Willis corrects her. That makes more sense. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize that it was explicitly done in an epilogue. I just thought like somebody somewhere, or it was fan theory to Shyamalama, like, ruminating somewhere.
Right.
It's very expressly in the same universe, and I guess leading up to the sequel of Unbreakable. Yeah, so
it's kind of fascinating actually that according to Shyamalan, and this is one of those things you can kind of take or leave. I have a hard time not believing it, but I also can easily see how this is just a lot of nonsense out of anybody's mouth. According to him, he actually had the character that McAvoy plays in the original script for Unbreakable.
Oh,
but
really?
It just didn't fit the way they were trying to weave the story. It didn't work, so they pulled that character, got removed. So this is an old thing.
That's perfectly believable.
It could make sense. I could also see it being a whole bunch of nonsense where he came up with something was like, oh, this fits. Oh yeah, it should have been there the whole time. Whatever.
It's the midichlorians of the Shyamalamaverse.
That's, you know what? If that's cool.
Except good.
Yeah. They had a better
and believable.
They had a better kid actor in the Shyamalamaverse.
I hate that. Can I just say I hate that argument for midichlorians? Oh, it was in the original script. Why'd you take it out? Oh, because it was stupid. Yeah. No kidding. Because old George Lucas, when he knew what was up, rebel George Lucas, when he was bucking the system out there in Hollywood, decided this is dumb, take it out, make it subtext.
Then he became Hollywood and was like, yeah, subtext is not something everybody gets.
Sub what now? That's literally what, anytime somebody says subtext to him, he's like, sub what now? Jar Jar. And then he just rides off into the sunset on his $1 million pony.
No, I didn't say I wanted it subliminal. I want it liminal or superliminal. Pick one.
Split's really good.
I want to watch it.
You're going to watch it eventually.
Yeah, we'll watch it probably in the next week or so. It's good.
Let's split from switching to going on video games.
Okay.
Segues.
Yeah. Okay, video games. I tried to play video games this week. I did.
Sounds like it didn't work out.
I went online and I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to buy that Rick and Morty VR thing because that just looks like a ton of fun.
Oh.
Plug in my VR and what happens? This happens, Ryan. This controller that's been sent back twice now, that each time they send it back, it has a charge. It looks kind of like it's charging, but I can't exactly tell. Then it finally dies and then it won't charge anymore. So
for your Vive.
Yeah. So I had to get on with, and let me tell you, I've mentioned this before. I hate their support. It is the worst. And for the amount of money that's paid for this thing, I absolutely regret that purchase, man. Yeah. Absolutely. Not because the product is great when it works, but man, getting support sucks. 2 times now, I've spent over an hour with them going through their shenanigans about run this diagnostic, run that, do this. This time I finally said, no, I'm not doing any of that. I've done all of your stuff. I did it over the weekend to make sure it was not working. Was it
all like the simple stuff? Like, have you turned it off and turned it back on?
Basically, yeah.
Okay, now connected to that's what I hate most about that. Like, I hate the people you call that aren't savvy enough to pick up on your level of tech savvy.
Right.
Which I get why they wouldn't be, but still, like, skip some steps when I tell you about firmware right off the bat.
And that's,
like, get me
legitimately in the like. So I do this all through their text chat. In their text chat, in my first initial thing, I say, I have this controller. It's been sent back twice. You can look it up by here's my address and my information. I've already done these steps, tried different USBs, tried different ports, I tried different plugs in my house with different cords. I took out the firmware, I deleted the firmware, updated the firmware, still not working.
I wrote some new firmware.
So
it works better.
This person that I'm talking to can just like, she's like, okay, well you did all of it except you missed one little thing and I really need to do it. I'm like, no, we don't need to do it. Just get past it. So here's what.
So that might just be like they need to put somebody in that position that understands what they're talking about. Then like
this is what happened.
Caught up on the steps.
This is what happened right here. So she tells me that I have to go plug the controller and press the buttons and a window will pop up and I need to delete a file. Great. Plug in the controller, do the buttons. No window pops up because a window doesn't actually pop up. It just shows up as a drive on in your Windows stuff. So I click into it and I'm like, okay, so here's the file. Is it this one? She's like, oh, that's different. Let me find out. She said, and then she comes back like 3 minutes later. Okay, don't worry about it. We'll just send you the prepaid shipping label and you'll be able to send it in. You'll get an email shortly. Thank you. Are you for an hour? Over an hour.
Oh.
Yeah. So that pissed me off. And then right after that happened,
for a VR headset too, like
for a handset, it's just a controller. Annoys me. So that aggravated me a lot. And then shortly after that, I got an email from nowinstock.com saying, hey, Nintendo Switches are available. Okay, got it. Purchased. Done.
And then you felt better? Is that?
I did feel a little bit better. I had it shipped overnight. Zelda, Mario Kart. Man.
Oh, you got Zelda and Mario Kart.
Oh, yeah. And Snipperclips.
Okay. Did you play both?
Mm-hmm. I played all 3.
Okay.
Beth and I have played Snipperclips and Mario Kart. And I've played Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild, man, for a game that has now outsold the number of actual consoles available, it makes
by 1 million.
It makes every bit of sense.
1 million more people bought just the game than could have possibly bought a Switch.
It's crazy. I love it.
I very much err on the side of there's no wrong way to play a game. 1 million people might be playing that game wrong.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
No, you think that's still worth the purchase? Okay,
I think they figured out how to switch it on.
All right.
That game it's tremendous. It is easily my favorite Zelda game that I've played since Link to the Past, and probably the best that I've played so far since Ocarina of Time.
Huh.
And I mean, this game is put in the hours, it's put in the work. It looks fantastic. It plays great. The story is good so far. I mean, it's pretty by the numbers for Zelda. It's some branching path of you're the hero, she's not. Sure. You got to help her, kill him, do that. It's great.
I will be interested to see if that diverges at some point, given how the game itself seems pretty. Wait, did you finish?
No. It just it's totally like every ounce of the story is going with it. Right now, the basic story here is you've been asleep for 100 years.
Sounds wonderful.
And Zelda is now trying to figure out what to do with her life somewhere. And you're just waking up, and instead of waking up and people being like, "Oh, you're the hero," they're like, "Oh, you're the hero? Yeah, cool. Go find your own stuff, man. I'm not giving you a sword. I'm not helping you." But it's cool. It's some of the things that they've changed up. They've added like powers that that you now get through like your opening. So your bombs now just regenerate. You don't have to actually buy bombs, which is kind of cool. There's a magnet thing to move metal stuff. There's a stasis thing to stop time for moments and certain things.
That actually makes sense for an open world. I can see why they would kind of do away with.
And that open world, man, there are some spots.
It's hard spots?
Yeah.
Good spots.
There are just some spots
cool
where you get all of that. There's some difficult enemies, some beautiful spots, some spots that just, I don't know how to get there yet, but it's good. It's really good.
Do you know where the end of the game is? Like, there's that thing. Like, some dudes out there can beat it in under an hour because you just walk straight to where the.
Not a clue.
No. Okay. Cool.
Haven't even bothered trying to do that because I want to play.
I wouldn't
the
look
game.
that stuff up. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Mario Kart. There's nothing to say about Mario Kart. It is Mario Kart. It plays great. It feels great.
Does it play like the fastest selling Mario Kart of all time?
It certainly plays like the Mario Kart that blue shelled the competition. Yeah.
Fastest selling Mario Kart ever, 450K on day one. And I guess Amazon's top seller for 2017 so far. Man,
I got to tell you, walking into Target to pick that up was a delight.
Oh, man. Check out, if you haven't gone to the Instagram, or the 0HITPOINTS Instagram, the Hip Now social networks for kids. There's you, and I haven't been to my Target, so I don't know if mine has it either, but you walk in and it's just
it goes
all
beep,
dolled up.
Beep,
yep.
beep, beep, woo! And they got stickers all over the place. So
how many times you go through that?
Like 5.
Okay.
Yeah, no, totally.
Not enough, but okay, that's cool.
No,
that's
fine.
fine.
And then Beth and I played Snipperclips for just a quick couple of rounds, and that game, man, it's brilliant. It's
gonna be good. Okay.
It's totally a bunch of little mini games that take a minute to figure out, and you kind of figure out how to do it with your partner, and it's great. It's really novel. I can easily see this game being too short for me, actually, which is
really
funny. Yeah.
Which one did you play? Which one do you think you're going to go back to first with Beth? Mario Kart or Snipperclips?
So, funny story. I told Beth that one of the things about Snipperclips in particular was that that I kind of wanted to get the Switch for flights because we've got a couple coming up, and
sure.
I was like, yeah, so this is something we could totally play together on the flight. And she was like, yeah, so we might not play that actually until we fly to Seattle for my son's graduation next month. So very likely Mario Kart.
Keep it in your pocket. Okay, that's good. All right. Yeah, and Mario Kart is as great as it is. I feel like it's Mario Kart. You want to savor the newness of something like Snipperclips, maybe.
Dude, definitely,
right.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, sure. I didn't have to be so gross about it, but I guess that's
you didn't.
Fine.
Hopping back really quickly to Zelda, though, they announced the DLC details for their first DLC, the Master Trials.
Yeah, did you see that?
Yeah, man, I am looking forward to getting the Tingle outfit. That's my goal.
I'm actually pretty excited about it. No,
you get the Tingle outfit.
I was like, okay, they're doing it.
Majora's Mask is in there.
Some things I don't know because I haven't played a Zelda game in a long time.
It's Zelda. It's all good.
Phantom armor
because you
Korok mask.
The Koroks are funny because they're little seed things that you find in Breath of the Wild, and also the main demon that's trying to destroy the world and John dies at the end. His name is Korok. So, I like to think
that's where the universes come together.
Yeah, I like to think that this is how we're colliding.
Sure. The actual game stuff to that DLC sounds all right as well. So there actually is, I think sounds like some sort of horde mode, easy and hard.
Yeah, and there are a bunch of trials, like they exist in the game as is. There are trials that you go and do, and you get orbs for them.
Oh, okay.
So
this is an addition to
an extension of that. Yeah, you use the orbs that you get from the trials are what you use to get your hearts and boost your stamina.
Is this function the same? Like this isn't a new mode.
No.
More of an existing. Gotcha.
I don't know if the horde thing. I know that there's that one. I don't know how that one in particular actually is going to fit in. But these all exist like in the game world themselves. So I don't know how these are going to be added. But in the game world, there are these little like things that you go into. They're little huts kind of that take you underground to a dungeon. And you do a trial, and the trials, that's where those things like the magnetism come into place, where you have to move a thing, and then you have to like use the freeze thing to raise the water so that it falls on that to cross.
And they're all different puzzles, not necessarily just a wave bit. Gotcha.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it's good. And then I downloaded Star Wars Droid Puzzle for my iOS.
I actually meant to do that.
It's okay. It's a match 3 essentially. That they did add some kind of novel changes to mix it up a little bit. So certain
say they better, otherwise I'm out.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's nothing groundbreaking. This is not something that's going to hold your time at all.
So,
and they definitely have built it in such a way that it's the pay to play or just sit on it for a day so that you can continue playing the following day.
Oh, well, okay, make the decision easy, I guess.
Yeah, it's
Is it Puzzle Quest-y enough? Like, okay, so is it like Evolve Hunter's Quest? The popular
Yes, actually it's very
app.
It's very similar, except so you go through and you have the levels built out like each little world, and the first part is you're getting Rey to her speeder, and then getting Rey to the port on Jakku or whatever, but then to get further, so you have to play, you have to continue things, you have to try, and you have your counter. The more counter you have left over for more turns, your least amount of turns you use, the more points you get, and you need the points to unlock the next parts. So after you get to like the very end, there's always, hey, here's a new quest that you can go back on hard mode and complete some of the other, like some of the previous puzzles to get more points to get to the next level. Yeah, it's not real well put together. It's and again, that whole like you gotta freaking pay to play. Basically, I'm not into it. So that was a delete. Don't get.
Okay. All right. Maybe we won't talk about that.
Yeah, let's not. And then last thing I played really was we played some Overwatch. We
did. Yeah.
We are 2 of the 30 million people plus that are playing the game. It's Overwatch has surpassed 30 million players.
I logged in like twice in a row, so some of that's probably me.
Yeah. I mean, we were both. We did the stream again this week, and in theory it'll be up this time.
That'll be up yesterday.
See, it's there.
Like yesterday, you'll see. We redid the Uprising event, or played it some more, I guess you could say. But then, actually, you know what? You remember? We played some Capture the Flag afterwards. Yeah, no, I'm excited about this. Remember that hot garbage?
Yeah.
Because I forget who was it a friend
Pandamelia.
Pandamelia was heading up the party. We played some Capture the Flag. Might not have chosen that on our own. So
wouldn't have
worked out. Because man, there was I played Diva, which I never thought of for Capture the Flag, and I'm not sure why, but she's like a awesome pick for this mode we don't like that much. And Capture the Flag twice in a row, like super stupid, like should not have happened. Like there's no way, like just the hottest garbage you've ever seen of me like hiding around corners and getting my mech back just in time and then boosting away. I might cut that out just to put it up. It was pretty nuts.
No, you should split that just totally, because it's just absolute trash.
Yeah, and we should not go back to that mode because now we've had the most fun we could possibly ever have with it.
It'll never get better.
Maybe, yeah. But yeah, and also for Overwatch, I've moved on to basically healers. So kind of understood Lucio, kind of understood. Oh, we did the Uprising on hard where I played Mercy, and we still won.
We did,
which is I don't believe still. So this could be just building bridges here. You're mentoring me with
good
maybe years of healing.
Maybe you can teach me how to kill bad guys then with characters that use guns, because all I'm good at is healing, because I'm piss poor with everything else. Man, I'm just
unsurprisingly fun though. Like again, like the healing class was maybe the one where I was like, because so far it's been I choose a character, I get deep into it, and then I'm like, wow, this is actually really fun. You know, part of the reason I love Overwatch is that happens over and over and over. With healing, I was always semi-doubtful because it was just a role that I've always been pretty bad at.
Right.
But they freaking did it again. Like I played Lucio, like stuff clicks and you're like, oh man, like I this is fun. And then Mercy, same thing. I mean, yes, winning and playing against the AI probably helped a little bit there, but still. It clicks and you're like, man, this game all over again.
Man, and with Mercy's a ton of fun because she has She's not terribly fast. Her gun is very strong. It's a joke that has been running around Reddit since like day one. That Mercy Main, by the way, her gun is really strong. You have to get used to it. That the fact that it's a projectile, not a hit scan, so you have to lead it. But then she also has that fantastic ability, the Guardian Angel thing, where she can fly away. And if I forgot to use for that entire stream, if you'll notice. You get used to playing her, and you'll find that is one of those things that you kind of just always do. You're always waiting to jump around. So
I need to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you will have a great deal of success with Anna. I think she's going to work out well for you, actually.
I've played her more than anybody else so far, and I can't remember. I think maybe I got her for the Halloween event more often than not for some reason, or we played a few. I can't remember, but didn't click in that time with her. But again, didn't really, I'm sure, understand. But yeah, it's fun. Whatever. Overwatch is a good game.
Pretty good.
Maybe you've heard of it.
Yeah, you might play it. You might not.
Also, Flower. Do you remember that one?
I love it. It's great.
I have the platinum trophy in Flower now.
Dude.
Yeah. Because I'm a video gamer.
Yeah, you're a professional, man. You don't stop for the. You're like, you know what? Gold's not good enough.
You know how it felt?
Not probably as good as thousandsing a game. Did it feel the same?
Yeah, it's all right. No, I think I'm good. I think I'll be all right.
Fair enough.
But only other game I played is Disc Jam, so there's not a strong chance I'm going to platinum an online game, anyways.
Oh, but there's a game that's coming out that I hope you will pick up, and it's gone gold, and I hope you'll go for platinum on it.
Wow.
PS4 only too. So
that's we'll get there.
We will. We'll get there, Ryan.
Other game I played a lot of, kind of accidentally. So my daughter made it into. Do you have Gate program? Is this a universal term?
I know.
Gate program.
I know what it is. We don't have. I mean, we don't have that exact thing, but have something.
There's some equivalent, everywhere. Gifted and talented education.
Yeah.
Which, fun story. I made it into in 4th grade. Stayed long enough to realize it was harder than normal classes. Requested to be removed and was removed.
Mm-hmm. And now look at you.
Yeah, and now look at the pattern that just kept going.
You're a success with a successful podcast.
My daughter's not going to do that. She's going to do everything right. It made it in. So we had to go to a meeting that was like, let us tell you about it. So me, Father of the Year, time to play Ballz, right?
Yeah, no,
I'm
Ballz.
Like, check out this meeting, Ballz. I didn't die and kept not dying until 3:21.
Fuck.
Yeah, I'm out. There's no way I'm going back.
That's what you said at like 1:20.
65. Thank you.
Whatever.
It's a time event. Like, unless they plan to do more meetings about the future of my child, I'm probably not going to play that game again, I guess.
Dude, I can't imagine playing this game right now.
It takes too long to get up there. But I don't know. And I still, like, last time we talked about this, I said I wonder how designed this game actually is. I still wonder that, because there's an element of luck, but also there's an element. No, I'm sure there's some skill.
Oh, no. I'm agreeing with you on this. Like, I am fully on board with you. I don't think that there was any design involved in this whatsoever.
Okay, good. All right. Okay.
This was seriously, somebody came home and was like, hey, man, you guys remember Arkanoid? We could do that for nothing.
With nothing. The other thing I'll say, now that I feel like I have some ownership of it because I've spent way too long and got way too high, there's the blocks change color as the numbers go down.
Yeah.
Which, if you're doing it quickly, and especially if you hit the speed up thing, is kind of cool because they subtly shift from different colors.
Yeah.
That stopped happening around like probably 100 and something.
They're like,
so basically all the blocks, they're all just the same color, and they never change until they get down to, whatever it is, 70 something. And then they do the cool color shifting. It sucks because when you get this is stupid, but when you get a good thing going and all of them are going down at the same time or whatever, like, it would look really cool if there was this crazy amount of color shifting going on between all of the blocks at once. Like, it's aesthetics, but still, like,
no, I understand. It's totally it's a little thing, and but it matters,
I think they should have done that.
Well, you know what?
I'm not gonna play that game again.
Yep. Your balls have run their course.
Retiring my balls.
Retiring?
I've retired from Ballz, everybody.
Ball retirement, 2017.
And then I played a ton of the remastered Bastion for Xbox One.
Bastion.
Yeah, and that's as good as it ever was. It's better than it ever was, I think. Actually, like number one, it's just straight up an excellent remaster. Like all this stuff looks amazing. Yeah, like it's all just high definition. 1080p probably.
I'm a fan of definition.
It could be. It just looks really good.
I should play it someday.
The design of it just looks. Wait, you never played it at all? Yeah.
For like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Booted it once.
It does like fantasy western probably better than anything. I mean, I guess that isn't done real often anyways. What do we got? We got Wild Wild West, right?
The Will Smith vehicle, yeah.
Pretty good. We got Firefly. Pretty good. I would say this still does that all better. The music, the storytelling, the voiceover. It's really, really good. Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
No, I know that
You've
guy's
heard
good.
about this game before.
I have, and I've met the voiceover artist, and I saw him talk, and it was great.
Oh, what, really? With PAX?
Yeah, he was at the thing. He was at the thing for the Church in the Darkness. When we went to the voiceover panel, he was on the panel.
He's not Ellen Page's husband, is he?
He's definitely not Ellen Page's husband.
Dang it, Ellen Page.
He's not Ellen McLean's husband either.
Ellen McLean, thank you.
No. Is
he married to either one of them? That's all.
No.
Okay.
He was on the panel.
I didn't know he was. Yeah, I guess
he was the one black guy on the panel.
Whoa. If you're trying to say it's not cool for him to marry Ellen Page or McLean.
It's not cool for him to marry Ellen Page, but for a different reason altogether. And I think it mostly comes down to
you are super against like
I'm an Ellen Pageist, okay? And it's not that
that's enough of that.
It completely has nothing to do with the race aspect, you wang. It has to do with the fact that she likes girls. She's only
I thought just because you didn't like her and you didn't want her to marry anybody.
No, she's only kind of out. She's been out for years.
No, yes, you're right. I forgot. I'm no.
I like that you thought I was
the worst lifestyle podcast we've ever done.
I don't know what that means that you thought that I was either that racist or something. I'm like, man.
It was a bad. No, I was just trying. Okay.
I think this whole part needs to be cut out.
I'm trying to make a bad joke. It's cut. It's not. Don't worry. Hey, a lot of stuff happened over this past week that we could talk about besides anything we're currently talking about right now.
Like actual games.
You've heard of Injustice 2. We love Injustice 2. It's 5 out of 5 stars. Best game of the year even.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be better than Mario Kart. They released
2 more trailers. One of them about Darkseid, which he's been in. He's a pre-order bonus, so we've seen his face a bunch of times anyways.
We have.
That's a good trailer though. That's a good character. Like all of his anime, like his arms behind his back, which I love from it imbues him with character like immediately.
Right.
But also, I feel like we could make some pretty good videos where it looks like he's dancing the tango.
Oh, man. I like it. I'm into it.
Watch. You got to look at it.
Yeah, I'm into it.
But yeah, also his eye lasers, like all the design for him is super cool. Like the way they go across the screen is nuts, and then that's how they work that into his X-ray or his special or whatever.
I'm very excited. Darkseid actually looks pretty cool. He's not that as a character, just from the way he plays, not usually the style of character I enjoy. But I like his animations. I like the look of Apocalypse. So I'm more hopeful for him than I am for the other trailer they released this week of the Joker.
The Joker.
This was worse than it's not worse. On par bad with that Suicide Squad, the Leto Joker, man.
I'll go there. Worse than Leto.
It's bad. It's like everything.
Like he's got like a Matrix trench coat with his sleeves rolled up
and his
then
super
like
cool coif.
Kind of come over.
What are you doing with him? And the voiceover is awful.
It's somebody else doing Mark Hamill again. It's somebody doing a Mark Hamill impression.
This sounds like somebody doing an impression of Troy Baker doing an impression of Mark Hamill. I was just going to say,
it is. It's somebody doing a bad impression of Troy Baker doing a bad impression of Mark Hamill doing a fantastic impression of the Joker.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this Joker at all.
So here's the weird thing, though. I like maybe everything about him but the skin. Like, I think the animations they gave him are cool. Like, he's got this really, like, this nutso dash where he's doing the thing where he runs with his legs in front of him again.
Yeah.
Like, he's got...
He's a cartoon.
Yeah, he is. He totally is.
He's the Wile E. Coyote.
He is. They totally nailed it, too. Like, I think that came off really cool. Like, he's got the gun that says bang, on a flag, but then he shoots the flag at them that stabs into their chest. Did you catch that one?
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I just can't get like that skin and that voiceover just are terrible and he's another one that character wise he's just one I have no interest ever in playing in a fighting game. Like even when I disconnect the comics from everything, he's not a fighter. He's never been a fighter.
Well, that's
and I know suspension of disbelief.
Injustice largely.
Suspension of disbelief and all that. This particular version is just even worse. I just can't get into it.
I mean, Leto at least kind of has this like.
No, I'm not giving him any positives. None. I finally watched all of his scenes. No.
Did you ever watch Chappie?
I still haven't seen that, no, because I heard it was just awful.
So that's like D. Antwoord figures in largely in that movie, and they're part of like this style movement in South Africa that I can't remember the name
I know
of
who
it.
they are. I'm very familiar with D. Antwoord.
What do you call that?
I don't.
It's
they're kind of like they're kind of a I don't know.
I came off that movie almost respecting it. I was like, they got an aesthetic and it's got like an attractiveness to it that's kind of weird garbage. I don't know, like not garbage bad, like literal.
No, it's
trash heap.
kind of a white trash thing.
So yeah. At least Leto kind of, you feel like there was a cohesiveness about that was kind of admirable in that way. If horrible, this Joker doesn't have that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
It's just bad. It's just dumb.
Zeph.
That's it.
Zeph culture.
Yeah. There you go. So I guess we stop the podcast now? No,
let's talk about Nazi zombies.
Oh, Call of Duty 2. And I
don't mean the ones that are in the current cabinet.
Sad. We talked about this last week that we're going to have an announcement for Call of Duty World War II. It turns out the name of that game is going to be Call of Duty World War II.
That's surprising and tantalizing.
It's about World War II.
It's about a war that was filled with worlds, and there were two of them, and this is a second one.
No, that's a DC comic.
Whatever. Okay. I'm sorry, man. I like, no matter what they say, no matter how much they come out and say, well, we're really going for the gut punches here. We're really going to we're going to try and really connect with you. It's still going to be Call of Duty. Like, Battlefield is still Battlefield. Okay. Battlefield is better in the, to me, in that, like, that kind of really putting you there. Whereas Call of Duty is more of the arcade version of putting you there.
Sure.
So does that mean they can't knock this out of the park? No, absolutely. They can. But Sledgehammer is not the company that I'm thinking, the developer that I'm thinking is going to suddenly turn Infinite Warfare into Battlefield 1. I don't see that.
So they made Advanced Warfare.
Sorry, whatever.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I know it's what you meant. So no matter what they said, I think I agreed with you until about 2 hours ago. What they said was this right here, because I liked Advanced Warfare, so I think they got the chops at the very least.
Sure.
Like, they've made a good Call of Duty for me. Like, it can be entertaining in that way, but it was Advanced Warfare. Like, it was future warfare, so it's kind of inherently it's not taking itself terribly seriously. And you're also right that it's almost apples and oranges with this and Battlefield.
Definitely.
So there was a piece that went up on Polygon. I don't know how much. There's probably pieces everywhere now, but they went in deep and they spoke with Sledgehammer, and Glenn Schofield, I guess, is co-founder of the studio. Big hand on what they're going to get done. And some of the stuff he said, and again, a lot of this is what if still after he says it even, but reading this, check it out. Tell me what did you read this thing?
I didn't. I actually
Okay,
honestly
yeah, no,
I didn't.
I don't blame you.
I haven't had
It's way
enough
too long.
time. I wanted to. I tried to.
It's way too long. Get this though. Okay, so
I'm getting it.
Schofield's grandfather fought in the Italian campaign, World War II. He was injured while taking out a machine gun nest that had pinned his unit down, lost his leg, became a salesman after the war. Schofield is co-founder of Sledgehammer, and quote says, "A lot of us are the grandchildren of World War II's fighters. I am. So for me, it's been a nice trip to be able to talk about this, to research it more, and really understand the war that my grandfather went through." Said his grandfather has since passed, but was part of that generation that had to fight Nazis. You know, it says, but basically Glenn Schofield is invoking the memory of his grandfather.
Yeah, sure.
Like, kind of carries some weight for me. Like, they're doing this under Activision, so grain of salt. Like, Activision is the grain of salt. But to hear somebody from Sledgehammer like invoke their dead family members in this way puts a little hope in it for me. Like, again, I think it's a long shot, but
yeah, I like, that's great. And that's, yeah, I mean, cool. I'm glad that some of the developers are putting connections in like that. And for them, when they build this game and they write this game, maybe it comes across to them in the way that they want it to. As somebody who has played enough Call of Duty to know that while the differences are many, the similarities are greater. I just have a hard time thinking this is going to be anything different. It's going to be the Call of Duty that existed 15 years ago that started all this nonsense.
So we might disagree on a fundamental level then, because I think going back to a game like Call of Duty 2, let's say, not Call of Duty 3, that was Treyarch, and they very much... We're going to talk about the difference here. Call of Duty 2 toyed with anticlimax in a way that lended credence or weight to the set pieces that Infinity Ward was, would become famous for, which they kind of nailed, right? Like there's, if you remember the ends of those games, there's no boss, like there's no
right.
Hitler,
well, and there should never
right?
be in a world.
It
war,
kind
like
of
an
just
actual war game.
Yes, but that's kind of the question here. Like in Battlefield 1, you could correct me on this, but I feel like at least all the marketing for that is very bombastic. Like they're very much. I don't know if in the stories if the storylines are as cinematic as the actual game is, because I know they went with Lawrence of Arabia and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Call of Duty 3, in contrast, had a bad guy, had a story. They were kind of trying to tell a brothers in arms thing, except it was bombastic. It was kind of, over the top, pulpy in a way. Call of Duty 2, like I said, has those moments of anticlimax where you kind of hear the echo of what you just played. Like the weight of what you just went through sits with you longer than if, you see a huge explosion that goes on for 5 minutes straight, right, or something like that. So, I mean, when you say that you're expecting it to be more of the same, like if they get more of the same of what that was back then, I would say that's a huge step forward. That's almost what I'm looking for. Like him invoking the name of his grandfather, like I think he might need to do a little bit more than that at least. I would be happy with something that was Call of Duty 2-esque in that way, period. But
so no, okay, valid point. Who made those first two Call of Duties? Sledgehammer?
No,
that's why. Bingo.
That's why I said Infinity Ward. Yeah, no, no.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, Sledgehammer is going to do what Infinity Ward or not Infinity Ward, whoever. Like, maybe it wasn't 1 and 2. Maybe you're right about 1 and 2. But the modern versions of those games are all the same to me.
And you are talking Sledgehammer here. They made the freaking one with Kevin Spacey in it.
Yeah, no, this is. I like. We're spending too much time on this, especially for somebody who's not going to get the game. There's no chance it's happening. But I will be anxious to hear how your opinion and how your thought process goes, because this is one that I feel like you will get. I think that like you don't have the same hang up with Call of Duty that I have, because you seem to you enjoy them. I mean,
I like it. Yeah.
So there's that. Some just other quick things to note. There's a trailer out. It looks like a trailer. It was fine. It was a good trailer.
And honestly, the trailer itself didn't do a ton for me. Like on its face.
It's fine. Yeah. They did confirm Nazi zombies, because why wouldn't they? Of course, you knew it was coming. And the bigger issue that some people are having is that there will be female avatars, and that seems like something that's a molehill you should go die on.
Are people Yeah, of
Of
course
course
people
they
upset
are.
about it. Whatever. Yeah,
It's
sorry,
because
my fault.
because now it can't be really like World War II. It's not really because now you're insulting all of the actual people who do. Yes, because when you're playing a multiplayer game and you're running around shooting your neighbor, you're really it's the memory that's really driving you. You jackhole. Shut up.
Yeah, I do like the Kotaku rundown though. Like they it's just a blurb where they mention that female avatars are going to be available, and then they run into like that explanatory paragraph in the middle where they kind of give some background, and they say making up approximately half of humanity, women played a big part in like introducing the concept of females to the reader at that point.
Which is cool.
Yeah, and necessary, honestly, if you ask me.
Yeah. Great. Let's move on. Call of Duty is
lots
done.
of game announcements, actually, besides Call of Duty, if you can believe it or not.
I can't.
One of the least surprising ones for me was Darksiders 3, which has since been confirmed after the Amazon leak.
I'm excited about it because I now have the 2 Darksiders games that I've never played sitting on my PlayStation.
Yeah, play those. Yeah, and I have Darksiders 2 I'm waiting to play too, which, yeah, it's kind of been at the top of my list. And then I just choose, that's one of the reasons I chose Bastion, because it was a short one. I'm like, I want to start playing that. It's like at the top, but I just want one I can finish in a week also.
Right.
So this wasn't as much of a surprise because a lot of times when people are getting ready for a sequel, they'll put out the old ones not only as a way of judging support or rekindling, but also giving the developers a way to test their chops or boost. Or they did that with Gears of War Ultimate as well. Like Coalition basically did that as a primer for making Gears of War 4. So Darksiders 3 is going to happen. THQ Nordic, recently rebranded as well. It's not really surprised they would head here first. So either way.
No, it's probably
cool.
an easy win for them.
Yeah.
Built-in fan base. So that's coming out December 3rd, 2018.
Yeah, also plenty of time
Yeah.
there.
So they probably won't screw that up. That's quite a bit. More exciting than Darksiders 3, though, is Danger Zone comes out this month in May for $12.99 on PS4 and PC. What's interesting about Danger Zone, and the reason you need to be attentive to Danger Zone, is
I'll probably get it.
This is made by Criterion devs, and it's just crash mode. That's it. It's Burnout Crash mode.
Basically, yeah.
I want it. I need it, and I gotta have it.
For $12.99, man, too. I feel like that's a good price, unless this is like way more bare bones. If this is just the crash mode, great.
I'm still okay with $12.99
that was
on
still
that.
No, yeah, exactly. That was full featured enough in the Burnout games that would be cool. If they've stripped out some features that I can't even think of, because again, it's pretty basic. $12.99 seems like a good price. I will spend that money.
Yeah. Also, I'm very excited to get my Vive and my VR stuff back together so that I can play The Walking Dead VR, which was announced. And one of the things the directors of The Walking Dead, funny enough, they were working on some of the functions in the headset, and they were tweaking things so that people wouldn't feel nauseous. And then the director was like, no. VR is where we want everybody to get nauseous. Get sick. We want you to feel bad and throw up.
He calls it a tool.
It's a tool
in his tool belt.
And to me, that's not a great tool. That's not like
I like that idea. While I don't want to go anywhere near it, I kind of like that idea.
Conceptually, as an idea, sure. I don't see that being a popular thing to push.
No. I mean, there's a small contingent of people I'm sure that will.
Oh, I'll try it
because you're gonna make somebody. I mean, I get motion sick really easy, so this is ultra bad for me. Like, you can ruin my day by making me motion sick.
Right,
like, that'll stay in my stomach for hours. If they're gonna tell me that they can make you sick for just a little bit, and then like I don't know.
I don't think they can tell you that.
Yeah, no, they can't. I'm gonna be honest with you. The only reason I put this in here is because I'm more than halfway through the
7th
season, yeah, which also makes me nauseous. Nauseous?
Due to...
How do you say that? Nausea? Induces nausea?
It induces nausea. Why? Okay, now okay, why?
I know, we can't spend a lot of time on this, but okay. I am super disappointed that I'm still dealing with how bad Negan is at this point. I think I'm 8 episodes in at least.
What do you mean?
Negan's a really bad guy.
Sure.
He does many bad things and has many situations that are made to show you how bad he is.
Yes.
Over and over and over.
You don't think it's funny?
I get it.
You're not finding the humor in it? because Kirkman loves him. Kirkman loves that character because he writes it. He loves writing him. He loves the way he talks.
I'd be fine with the character, but all they're reiterating to me the same thing about the character for 8 episodes now. And Morgan's cool. Like, I like to watch him. And you're right, he does have that little cock. He does. So he like leans back for like a second.
45 degrees.
He's got like a little, yeah.
Everything. I hate it. It's so aggravating. It's so dumb.
He still manages to be fun. It's just there's no movement. There's no movement. It's just a new vignette about how evil Negan is.
Okay.
Okay.
I am legitimately curious. What was the last thing he did? Like, what's the last thing you saw that he did that was...
freaking idiot Coral stows way in the back of it.
Okay, so the sing me a song thing. Okay.
Yes.
Did you... I'm trying to think... No, okay. You've got...
It gets worse?
You've got...
And I know, I'll tell you what I know. I know he's still there on the last episode of the season.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay. I will tell you this just from here on out. Negan's in the comics now. Still. Oh, he's not leaving the show, but there is a huge thing that occurs that is going to... How they deal with that in the actual show is going to be I don't know.
Did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed...
They haven't got to it yet.
That part, no. That part won't come for another season. It'll probably happen, depending on how quick they move, either mid-season next season or the end of next season.
I get the evocative nature of having the main characters be under his thumb.
Oh, like, yeah.
That puts you in a place you want to be out of, which is TV 101. That's fine. You're eliciting a response from me still. That's good. They've seemed to beat it into the ground, which I guess is a thing as well. But
that's what happened to Glenn.
I'm just gonna stop watching at some point,
Here's all I will tell you without actual spoilers involved. You've got maybe 1 or 2 more scenes that are like where Negan does something and you're like, good, seriously, but that's it. And then the rest of it is a whole lot of posturing. It's a lot of talk. It's nothing as brutal as anything. We just saw some movement. Like, I got Michonne going off and doing her, like, she's making some movement. There's somebody else too that's it's Rosita doing. She's got her bullet now from yeah. So there's a whole bunch of you've got like 1 or 2 more scenes that are like where Negan goes to the nth degree, and then that's actually kind of like he's still going to be violent, but nothing like what you've been seeing over and over again.
That's cool. A little bit of change, some movement there. Like, that's okay.
It just mostly
maybe we can talk.
Yeah. When you finish this season, we can talk about it.
Okay. Sorry to do that to you. I know we're moving at a good clip, and I had to throw that in there.
No, we're good. And then the last thing that was reannounced: terrible game, awful game, played like crap. But was really novel to me when I was younger. Night Trap remastered that failed its Kickstarter. It still ended up getting funding.
Yeah, that was a story. I didn't even know.
And this game, it's got some weird contingent of fans that seem to think the game was better than it was, and it was never a good game. It was a bad Dragon Slayer.
So bad it's good at best.
Novel,
apparently.
But
novel. Yeah. There you go. It sounds like because they shot it in 35 millimeter.
Yeah.
Somehow, like, not even on video.
No, why would they?
So I guess they're going to remake that. At least the DP they mentioned as well went on to do like I could look it up, like actual like Academy Award winning films, I guess.
Yeah, his name's Roger Deakins.
No, not that good. That would be Night Trap. Nintendo doesn't have unlimited resources to make the NES Classic.
That's a cop-out.
They have said Reggie has said in an interview with Time magazine, you know what doesn't take unlimited resources to make?
The Nintendo.
A $60 mini console.
Yeah, you're kidding me out. What are you looking at here? What unlimited resources are you talking about? Are you talking about?
We don't have everything in the world to make the NES Classic.
Are you concerned about like lack of plastics? Like, is that the thing?
That takes there's 5 things in that thing. Who has 5 things?
There's a hinge.
There's not even a hinge. That thing doesn't open.
Look at that. You're full of it, Reginald Fils-aimé.
The funny thing is, I'm fine with whatever their reasons are. They just haven't said them yet.
I wish they would just say we're just doing it for holiday. That's it. It's a limited holiday thing. Cool.
Well, they've said that, but they've
just say
haven't
that
said
forever.
why it's just a limited holiday thing because it's obviously making money.
Your money.
Somebody needs to tell me, give me the numbers here. Why this isn't enough money? That's the thing I want to hear is that when we crunched the numbers, it was more pertinent that we make something like the new 2DS XL, which is the other thing they announced
for $149 on July 28th.
Which is a 2DS that folds.
Which is
talk about novel.
That is I hate
your 2DS.
I hate my 2DS, man. I hate that thing. Like, it's great for what it was. It was cheap and it works. It's fine, but it's a bummer that it's still just and it's an odd shaped pseudo square too.
That did seem kind of weird from the beginning. This actually looks pretty cool. Like it's the new 3DS without the 3D, essentially. Like, it has all the same controls, has the little nub stick on the right,
which I always really liked, actually.
It works fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the upper part, strange enough, looks just like a cell phone. It's kind of pushed into the plastic.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think they got a whole bunch of Nokia razors or Motorola razors, and they just smashed them together.
Glad somebody did. Chet Falisek has now also left Valve.
Falacek?
So, is an S in there.
Oh, yeah, I know. I know silence. I think it's Chet Falacek. Okay. I don't actually know because I think the check.
You're not going to silence the S's.
I'm sorry.
Which makes it was he the last writer?
He was the last of the three.
He's got to be. I mean, somebody there can probably has a pencil, but
nobody actually wrote for Left 4 Dead, Portal 2, Half-Life. Yeah, it's
this is after Laidlaw and Woolpaw.
Yeah, and Falacek and Woolpaw were the two that I think most people remember now because of Portal in particular, and Woolpaw probably more so. But
yeah, and all he says is that he wanted to change things up.
Yeah,
the statement you're going to get from him,
and that's all you're hearing from anybody out of Valve. I think everybody respects Valve enough, and also they probably have some weird NDA. But I have to assume that these guys are leaving strictly because there's nothing for them to do. Like, yeah, so that was Falacek was a big VR guy and big supporter of VR, but when VR as a console or as a platform is what you're aiming towards, you don't need a lot of writers for that. And
apparently,
and I mean, they're clearly outside of Dota and CS and kind of maintaining TF2, they're not doing anything. They're not writing new stuff, or if they are, they're not releasing any of it. So it makes sense that he would go.
I hope. I mean, speaking of the future of Valve, you hope this is more. All these guys leaving is more along the lines of they want to create something.
Yeah.
They want to put something out there. Which, not that they're not probably creating something at Valve and valued for it, but for writers, successful writers, arguably, you hope it's something along that line rather than Valve is just getting out of the writing business altogether, which seems like the more likely answer,
right?
I guess.
And speaking of the most likely answer, it's time now for our favorite segment, the lightning round.
Oh, the most lightning answer.
Oh, 30 seconds on the clock. Really excited. Here we go. These are news stories that we don't want to spend more than a second or two on. So here we go. Ryan Miller, 30 seconds. PS4 top 60 million units sold to retailers.
A lot of retailers playing PS4s, I guess.
Wipeout for PS4 has gone gold.
Oh, cool. It's a pretty good game show. It's because the one with the water, they fall. It's funny. They do jokes. It's got the Talk Soup guy.
All right, games coming out this week. We're just gonna go ahead and skip right past that. There's no comment. No, Friday the 5th, Prey is released. Have you played the demo?
No, that's out.
It is out.
Kind of want to.
Didn't play it.
Actually, I kind of want to just play the game.
That's kind of why I've been not playing it, actually, is because I figure I'm just going to do it. And then next Tuesday the 9th, Birthday is the Beginning.
That's kind of how birthdays work.
Really, exactly. Loco Roco Remastered.
I don't know Loco Roco Not Remastered existed.
Yeah, it was a game called Loco Roco.
Oh, Loco. Oh.
Yeah. That's it's a Loco Roku remastered. It's the same game, just prettier.
5 out of 5.
Yeah. Also, Strafe.
It's probably going to be fun and funny.
It could be. And then the Forza Horizon 3 Hot Wheels expansion that I cannot wait to play.
Dude, did you see the trailer?
Yes, I'm very excited for that.
That looks great.
That I can't believe they did it with Forza. Like, that's where my mind just kind of... It's perfect.
I wouldn't want it anywhere. I mean, yeah, okay, I would want it in Burnout.
GTA,
but still... Okay, maybe GTA as well. Yeah, that's true. It looks like a GTA thing, doesn't it?
Right. Yeah.
No, it looks hot.
So this...
Wheels.
Man, nice. This week I will be playing more Breath of the Wild, more Mario Kart, probably a little bit more Overwatch. They did extend the event because they closed it early again. So it probably goes for another 2 days or something. I haven't actually looked. Yeah, and that's where I'm at.
Man, I wish I could play Infinite Warfare so bad. The thing is, because my wife, we've been going through the story together. So it gets to be like 10:30 and I'm like, all right, want to watch some Call of Duty? And that the answer is not yes.
The answer is we just watched The Walking Dead. Why would I want that now?
Yeah, no, I'm angry at everything right now. That's not... what I need to do is before I need to be like, hey, do you want to play Call of Duty instead of The Walking Dead? Yeah. And I think I might be in.
You might be.
I got like a couple things left to do on Bastion that weren't in. They added some things to the remake. And then I think I'm going to start Journey this week.
Back into that. Oh, you know what? Maybe I'll pick that up because we can multiplayer that one. I think that one has...
Oh, does it have...
I think it has co-op.
I know it has, multiplayer. I don't know if it has, like, if you can purposely connect to each other. I guess is the thing. I don't know.
Let's investigate that. See what happens.
No. 0HITPOINTS.com.
I've always loved you.